As always, answers are yes or no. It certainly left behind a previous experience with an epidemic disease in recent memory, certainly left behind a lot of infrastructure. It left behind attitudes among the potential victims who I think more quickly understood the gravity of the situation and were happier to comply with the kinds of things that their political leadership demanded of them. So, for example, Saudi Arabia, which had experience with the MERS epidemic, locked down very quickly. But, you know, do you want to say that's sort of largely due to the historical legacy, or would you say that there are other aspects to the situation that Saudi Arabia found itself in that are perhaps as important, if not more important? So Saudi Arabia, you know, has a tiny indigenous population, many of whom live together in large family compounds. It has a huge itinerant labor population. It has an enormous airline. It is the destination for massive religious pilgrimages, and it's the neighbor of a wildly infected and slightly unpredictable Iran. So there are, you know, lots of reasons for it to lock down, not just sort of the memory of MERS. And nor, I think, would one want to say that past experience is everything. You know, experience can be forgotten. So mask wearing in Asia is something that the Asians actually learned from the West after the Spanish flu in 1918, but the West forgot that this was a good idea, and Asia embraced the idea. And Asians, of course, have, to a large extent, adopted mask wearing as something that's normal behavior, even when the worst threat on the horizon is a winter flu. The nations that most generally had previous experience with recent epidemic disease were, of course, the Asian ones. And these Asian nations imposed what one might call targeted quarantines to fight the epidemic. In other words, they locked down those areas that were infected, like Wuhan, and they imposed isolation on everyone who was infected and all their contacts. So they managed to impose drastic measures on a few in their population in order that the majority of the population be spared. We in the West, who had apparently not inherited much of a historical memory about how to go about this, we were unable to do this, we were unwilling to do this, and the end result was that in the long run, we ended up actually having to be much more interventionist than the Asians did. We had to impose a kind of across-the-board lockdown, and we ended up not arguing, but arguably suffering a great deal more than the Asians, who were able to go in and impose much harsher, but also more limited and more precisely focused measures in the beginning.